we have a little bit of time left, and we had to get him in because he's our guy. He is our senior NFL columnist, and that, of course, is Moe Moton. Mo did a piece up on the website. If you have not read it, you're maybe one of the only people in the nation who hasn't, and I mean Raider Nation. So go do it, silverandblacktoday.com. Mo wrote about free agent targets, and so we go out on the phone lines to Brooklyn, New York, which apparently is still there because Mo's with us. Hey, Mo.
How's it going?
Good, man.
Yeah, I'm swimming in news here. Luke Kuechly retires. Preston Buckner is fired. It's just one of those days. I'm packed with all types of news.
But you like me, studied journalism and all that. These are the days you live for. They're kind of a pain because it changed. You don't expect it to come when it comes, but man, it gets your blood going, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sitting in a barbershop and I'm here and my phone starts blowing up and I'm wondering what's going on. And I get out and I see the news and I'm just like, okay, well, it's going to be an interesting day on Twitter today. Fun. And it pretty much was. Yeah, and Coach Buck, as we said all night, great guy. And if you're just joining us, of course, he was let go because Gruden wants to hire Rod Marinelli. It wasn't because Buckner didn't do a good job. That's just sometimes how it works because it is a business, and there's no more reason than that. But, okay, let's jump in, Mo. We got a little bit of time with you. Let's start with – we're going to talk about three free agents that you mentioned, one starting at linebacker, which is a huge, huge need. And, of course, two big names out there, Corey Littleton, Joe Schobert. But a guy that we want to talk about with you is who was you selected as your alternative option, which I think is a more realistic option, which is Devondre Campbell of the Falcons. Right. And a lot of people don't talk about him because obviously the Falcons didn't do well this year. A lot of controversy about their defense. The defense picked it up in the second half of the season, didn't do well in the first half. But under Dan Quinn, Devondre Campbell was kind of their chess piece in the front seven. They moved him around. He played inside, outside linebacker, defensive end, and strong safety. So this is a guy who's 6'4", 232, can move. And this is what the Raiders absolutely need, especially if a guy like Corey Littleton, who I think Kelly believes is not going to be available for the Raiders because he's going to cost a lot of money. I think Joe Schobert falls in that category as well. He's going to cost a lot. Guy like Devondre Campbell kind of flies under the radar, and the Raiders don't have to break the bank, so to speak, for him, and he could still fill a pretty good need. And people are wondering, can he cover tight ends? And the answer is yes. 4 consecutive games of pass breakups, sometimes one-on-one on tight ends, which is again a factor the Raiders really need. So I think he's a guy that the Raiders should target in March.
Hey, Mo, it's Chaz. I think the majority feels that the Raiders will draft a wide receiver with one of those 2 first-round picks. And you mentioned A.J. Green in your article, and I would be 100% on board with that signing. I think he still has value not only for production on the field, but also mentoring a young player. Well, was that your thinking with A.J. Green?
Absolutely, but I think the pushback comes obviously with the injuries. He had a toe injury, he had ankle surgery, had a setback. I get that. Mm-hmm. But if you're assuming Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback in 2020, he does well with possession targets or big targets. And just look at the history. Going back to Devontae Adams in college, Michael Crabtree, possession receiver, Jared Cook, big target, Darren Waller, big target. The only problem with Darren Waller was that he didn't have a lot of touchdown production. So he's having A.J. Green there and give you the size, and he could be a red zone threat. So a lot of people are hung up on Robbie Anderson. I would pause on that because he wants $10 million annually. That's too much for me. Yeah, Robbie. that's top 20 wide receiver money, and I wouldn't pay that for Robbie.
Again, we're joined by Moe Moton, our senior NFL columnist at silverandblacktoday.com, also contributor at Bleacher Report, where you can also see his great work on general NFL and fantasy as well. Now, one of the positions that is a big deal, Mo, that continues to be a big deal for the Raiders, even though they had this great progress on the defensive line, is edge rusher. And a guy you brought up in your story to go along with Max Crosby and to go along with Mayowa and some of the other guys on the Raiders roster already is Mario Addison. Now, of course, we've talked about Ngukwe and we've talked about Fowler. We've talked about these guys. But talk about why Mario Addison might be a better target and more attainable for Gruden and the Raiders.
Better target because he actually played in the 4-3 and 3-4 defense. Ron Rivera had pretty much switched over, but he mixed in some 3-4 looks. So he can stand up and rush the passer from the nickel, and he can play with his hand in the dirt. Now, he had 9 sacks in 4 consecutive seasons. He's going into his age 33 season, I believe. So probably less. He's going to cost a lot less on the market than a Fowler or Ngakwe, who Raiders fans love because those are the big names. But you got to understand it's all about financials too. It's all about money. Who can you afford and do those players want to come to Vegas and play for the Raiders? Of course, fans think every player wants to play for Raiders, but just not the case. Sometimes you have to go after who's available and at what cost.
Yeah, and it's a lot about fit, not only, like you said, with system, the type of defense that is run with Paul Guenther's system, but also feel, coach. I mean, there's all those things. Just like when the rest of us go for a regular job interview, you get a feel for a place, and it might be great, and everybody thinks now because it's Las Vegas and there's no state income tax that's going to take care of everything, and that's just not the case. But, Mo, in about the minute we have left with you, you look at the Raiders, and I said it today with the firing of Buckner, that with John Gruden and with what he does, and as Vic Tafer said earlier, changing his mind a lot, that you can never get comfortable or never expect one thing to happen because probably the opposite will happen. You think this offseason is going to be just like that? Expect the unexpected?
It's John Gruden, so you have to expect the unexpected. So Raiders fans ask me, what do you think John Gruden's going to do? I try to give a detailed response, but usually I end with, who knows? It's John Gruden.
That's right, and but it's good fodder for us, and terrible for fans because they seem to be twisting in the wind, and it's just mental torture sometimes for them. But Mo, we'll have you real soon here on the Sunday Show so we can spend some more time with you. But we appreciate it. Great piece on possible free agent signings for the Raiders. So make sure you go read it at silverandblacktoday.com. Mo, have a great rest of your week, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Moe Moton, our senior NFL editor, or I should say columnist at silverandblacktoday.com. And Chaz, we got about a couple minutes left, but